Ever since I was a child, I felt so awkward in social setting. Being a socially awkward is one of my biggest insecurities that time. And this is also the thing that I started to work in my teenage. So that I immediately started to work on that. There are several years that I like to just sit in the corner in every social setting. I like not to talk about anything to anyone. I was like so shy. But honestly, I am an introvert. So I don't like to be social all the time, but I can. Like, only if I am in the mood, otherwise not. So those are the days when I just try not to talk to anyone. I just feel like if I say something, I'll make some mistake and then they laugh at it. But when I start to work on this thing in my teenage year, and now this is my biggest flex. Like, this is the one thing I get most compliments on. All the people I knew, they were like, how can you be so good? When you started to accept your insecurity, whatever that is, and just go with it, like, okay, I have this thing. I'm not perfect because no one is. So let's be, let that be. Whether you are insecure about your nose or your face or your body, try to accept something, it just started to, it turns out to be so attractive to others. And this is the exact same thing we are going to discuss in this video with the help of awareness, because obviously you've got to be aware in order to understand why you behave in certain ways. In this video, I'm going to help you understand your insecurities and transform them into your biggest strength. So 2 or 3 years later, you thank yourself and me as well for recording this video and telling you all this. So yeah, let's dive into today's video and discuss about how you can turn your insecurities into power. Awareness is the form of consciousness where you understand yourself without someone's judgment. You know who you are. It is the form of understanding your emotions and not doing like your mind is controlling you. It is to take your power back and to rule your life on your own, not just go with social media or your thoughts. And when you know, you're aware, you can identify those toxic traits, those bad habits, and all the things that is affecting your life. So you're not doing anything which is mindless and something that does not, that you're just doing out of nowhere, that does not support you. Now let's talk about how you can develop that in your daily life. Now, if I talk about my personal story, I don't clearly recall like how this thing happens, but as long as I know, I have been doing journal and meditation for like these are the two factors that really helps us. And I'm not saying like you have to exactly do the same thing, because whenever we're talking about awareness, everyone was like, be mindful, do meditation, do journal. So it's up to you if you want to do meditation or not. This is something I have been doing and this really helped me a lot. But something similar to this, you can also try yoga. I never try that. I don't know what it feels like, because even doing exercise is really hard for me. I'm kind of lazy. You can try doing yoga, because this is also a kind of exercise that allow your body to stay in the present moment and to make your body and your mind calm. And another way that I try in my journey is to really call out my thoughts. I like to talk about my thoughts all the time and like understanding why they are here. So these are the things that I've been doing. I'm doing research for this video. I felt I read so many articles saying that we should seek feedback from our loved one. When you ask someone, your friend or someone, like the way you behave, asking for your feedback, like what are the bad traits you have, what is the best thing about yourself, you start to understand yourself more. And that is the actual goal of awareness. So you can try to seek feedback from people, your friends. Things which I can try to become more aware is to understand your emotional triggers, which I felt I have been doing for a really long time without even acknowledging them. So the way I call out my thoughts, it's also I call out my emotions, right? So when you call out your, when you talk about your, when you examine your emotional triggers, why certain people, situation, and things hurt you, that's where you start to know yourself better. And that's how you become more. And the last thing that you can try to develop awareness is to identifying your beliefs and values. So every person have a different value. Every person have their own different values and beliefs. And this is the time for you to identify yours. Make a list of beliefs and values you have. This is what I do when I shift my identity to my new self. That's where I started to write all of the beliefs I have, all of the values I have. And every time when you started to crumble, this list help you to come back. This list just help you to remind yourself that who you are, what your beliefs are, what are your core values, so that you worry less about just unnecessary things. First of all, let's start by why I connected both things, fears and insecurities. Because Actually, in real, both are interconnected. Both comes from the same kind of negative emotions or thoughts that developed. So if we can see, a lot of your insecurities are the result of your fears. And a lot of your fears are also the result of your insecurities. So they're kind of interconnected. That is the reason why I am talking about both of them, because they both are the actual devils that holds you back from living a complete different life. So you have to address them both. And I have a few simple tricks for you to address them. And number one from this is you have to accept them. You have to accept that. You can't just change something. You have to also accept that just the way it is. And you have to be like, okay, I can't change this thing, right? If that's about your facial features, that's about your body, you can't change it. I know there are so many people like doing workouts so hard just to lose some weight. It's up to them. I don't believe in. If I share my personal story, I am so obsessed with a kind of a hourglass shape body, if you guys know about it. Like, and I always feel like I should have that body type, but my body type is actually rectangular, and which is kind of like we all have it. But hourglass body is something what I like to do. So I just think like, how about I do some exercise and do it? But then I was like, you know what? We should not, because let's accept it just the way it is. Just because some celebrities out there have this body shape, or it looks good on them, doesn't mean it is going to look good on you. And even though it looks good on you, it is still not yours, right? I really have a problem with those girlies. And yeah, I guess my girlies, you guys know about surgeries in South Korea. Like, those guys are insane, I guess. Like, how can you change this? No matter how I look, I still like my face. And you should too. Like, you're going to change something that is given by God. And she cannot be wrong. God cannot be wrong. So if they decided to give you this face because it's beautiful, because that's you, that makes you you. And every time I saw those people doing surgery and look like K-pop idol, what is the point of it? That doesn't look like themselves. And I was wrong. And as a person who loves to be authentically me, I never like to. I just did not understand why people just want to change anything in their body, in themselves, because no matter if this is ugly or this is pretty, it's yours. And as long as it is yours and it's good, right? So we can accept that. We don't need to change anything. So I don't know why surgery people do a lot of things like surgeries and Botox treatment. I don't know. They just doesn't make sense to me. But still, we are different people. Everyone have their different values. So yeah, let them just be. But what I would like to say is that we have to accept ourselves just the way we are, without judging ourselves, because people really don't care. We are the persons who judge ourselves so much. People really don't even care if your nose is big or small, because they are so involved in themselves. And if you are changing your features just because of them, you're not doing anything good for yourself, and you have to do it. So let's accept anything you have with gratitude, because some people are wishing to have the same thing. So you gotta be so grateful that you have it. Know their roots, because you're not born with an insecurity. You're not born with hating your face for something. There must be someone who told you that these are like, you're changing yourself for others, and they are also like, it's all about them. It has nothing to do with you. Trust me. They're just playing with you. At the moment you understand them, they're gone. Literally, the game is over. But the fact is, unfortunately, a lot of us was just not able to understand that easily. So that's how it is. Because your insecurities are never your problem. If another person doesn't like them, it's their problem. Why are you changing yourself for them? Even when the amount of people saying that you are dark is 1,000, if you are comfortable being dark, it's okay. What is the point of changing that? Like, that makes really no sense. You are then living for them, not for yourself. Now the decision is yours, if you still want to change it or not. Because when you explore your roots, I can guarantee you this comes from someone. Maybe someone you love. That person is so important to you, so that more important than yourself. And that is the reason why you believe them more than yourself. Even some parents are that way. Like, fortunately, our parents are so good, like they always support us. But some people don't have such parents. And the parents are so like, they always compare them. And that's where the insecurity comes from. So when you explore the roots of insecurity, then you understand that it's not about yourself, it's not about you, but others. And the last step to address your insecurity is to reframe the self talk you have. our minds are telling us over and over again that you're not smart, you're stupid, you don't deserve a good life. It is the actual problem. And I know a lot of people doesn't know where this comes from. Even I don't know where this comes from, but these are those experiences, those past experiences. So now it's time to change it. Now it's time to prove them wrong because obviously they're not true. You have the power when you say something to yourself that you are not beautiful, your mind will believe it. And eventually you ended up looking like the same thing. You might have so much power. So you have to first of all change the way you see yourself and change the narrative of your self-talk because that is the step to acknowledge that you have an insecurity. You can say that even though I'm not perfect, I like it. And as long as I like it, it is okay. You have to give your mind some proof so that it can stop that negative talk because it's never the actual thing. Have to change. The last thing about the video is how you can turn those insecurities into power. And step number one is my personal favorite is to use this as an opportunity. Whatever the fear, whatever the insecurity that is, use it as an opportunity to grow and learn and become a better person. Because when you have the fear and you use that fear as a motivation to learn something new or to step outside of the comfort zone, it's when you know that this thing is exactly the thing for you. Because a lot of the time, the things we fear, it's not because it's not good for us. It's just that this is the right thing. And it's just us self-sabotaging a lot. So whenever you found an insecurity, we should embrace it. Because a lot of the people, there are so many people out there who are ready to listen to you just like the way I'm doing. Because I know there are so many girlies who couldn't get the courage to talk about theirs. So when you talk about your insecurities out loud, there's so many people who appreciate that because they have the same insecurity. So use it as an opportunity to learn and grow and make yourself the absolute best because that's what you actually deserve. Step two is to set intentions. It cannot vanish in just one night. It is a process and you have to give this some time, especially when it comes to fears. When you have the fear of something, you have to set really specific and small goals to achieve them. And yeah, that's how we have to look for the one thing. And that one thing is resilience. And resilience comes when you have the self-esteem. Because throughout the time, when we have set those goals, self-esteem has to be high. Because the moment you done something wrong, your mind is gonna kick you with so many thoughts like you're not deserving. You did this because you said you shouldn't be doing this. There's so many things. So this time, self-esteem is such an important thing because you want to build that resilience with your small intentions. And the last step is to stay patient. When you have set the small intentions and you're resilient, you have the self-esteem, then you also got to be patient. And I know a lot of people are not. A lot of people were like, why am I not growing even after I try so much? Maybe even when you thought that you're done with something, it will come because your brain always remembers the patterns. So it's the hardest to forget about those patterns. But when you started to accept them and you're patient and you're growing till the point when you go numb to that, you no longer feel the fear, you no longer feel the anxiety. That's how the patience looks like because it is a process and you have to go with it. Now remember that your insecurities does not define you. The way you see yourself and carry yourself does. So please don't let them stop you. Because the more self-aware you become, the easier it is to break free from all these insecurities. So start today because a few years from now, you'll look back and be so proud of yourself that how far you found this video helpful. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more such videos. And comment down below which is one insecurity you are working on transforming now. I would love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, I appreciate you. I support you and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye.